John Carter woke up with a strange and heavy feeling on his chest. At first he thought it was just the weight of a blanket. But when he slowly opened his eyes, his heart stopped. Someone was on top of him, not just someone. It was Lyra, his new housekeeper. Her knees were on both sides of his waist, her face close to his, and her glowing blue hands were pressed firmly on his shoulders, holding him down. Her long silver hair fell around her face like soft light. Her eyes, normally calm and gentle, were sharp and focused, like she was watching something he couldn't see. John froze. His throat tightened. His mind raced. Why is she on top of me? What is she doing? She leaned even closer, placed one finger on his lips and whispered, "Do not speak. Do not move. You are in danger." Her voice was low but steady, full of warning. John's confusion grew. He tried to move his arms, but she pressed down harder, pinning him to the bed with surprising strength. She didn't look angry. She looked alert, as if something in the room was threatening them both. The air suddenly hummed like electricity, running through invisible wires. A faint buzzing sound moved across the ceiling. Lyra's eyes darted up, following the noise. John wanted to ask what was happening, but her hand stayed on his mouth, soft but firm. She whispered again, "It is close. Stay still." He didn't know what it was, but Lyra's serious tone chilled him. His heart pounded. Sweat formed on his forehead. This was supposed to be a normal morning. He had hired Lyra only 2 days ago because she was quiet, polite, and did her work without any problems. She cleaned the house, cooked simple meals, and spoke very little. He never imagined she would be sitting on his chest at sunrise looking like a trained warrior. The humming sound passed overhead again. Lyra shifted slightly, placing more weight on him, making sure he couldn't get up. John felt embarrassed, confused, and terrified all at the same time. Lyra then moved her head very slowly and scanned the room with her glowing eyes. For a moment, her pupils turned into small rings of light, like a scanning device. She wasn't acting like a housekeeper. She was acting like a soldier on a battlefield. "Lyra," John tried to whisper. Her hand pressed against his lips again. "Quiet. It listens. It senses vibration." It? What was she talking about? Suddenly, the buzzing sound stopped. The room became completely silent. Too silent. No birds outside. No cars. Not even the soft hum of the house's air filter. It felt unnatural. Slowly, Lyra lifted her hand from John's mouth and leaned close to his ear. "Listen carefully," she whispered. "Something entered this house last night. I sensed it while you were asleep." "You sensed it?" John asked, still whispering. "Yes." Her voice was calm and controlled. "I could not wake you. Any loud sound would bring it to this room. So I protected you." John blinked. His mind struggled to understand. Protected me from what? Lyra hesitated. For the first time, she looked uncertain. Not scared, just unsure how to explain it in simple words. "It is called a nano-assassin," she finally said. "A very small killing machine, designed to find and kill one target. You are that target." John's blood went cold. "A nano-assassin?" He repeated, "Yes, it is the size of the small insect, but far deadlier. It hides in the air, in vents, and shadows. It has many ways to kill: needles, poison, electricity, even hacking devices." John felt his heartbeat in his throat. Why would anyone send something like that after him? He wasn't important. He was a simple guy working a simple job. He stared at Lyra, confused and frightened. "You're saying something is trying to kill me. Why? And why are you acting like you know all this? You're a housekeeper." Lyra did not move off him. She stayed exactly where she was, still watching the room. Finally she said quietly, "John, I am not a normal housekeeper." Her voice carried weight, like she had been hiding this secret for a long time. "But I needed to stay close to you." She added, to protect you. The danger is real, and the enemy is intelligent. John tried to sit up, but Lyra pushed him down again and shook her head. Not yet. It is still here. Somewhere in this room. At that moment, a faint metallic click came from the corner near the window. Lyra's eyes widened. She grabbed John and pressed him flat against the bed. A split second later to SHH. A tiny metal needle shot through the air and stabbed the pillow. Where John's head had just been. John gasped. Lyra stayed calm. It has found us, she whispered. Then she reached behind her back and pulled out a small glowing device, something John had never seen before. Her voice turned firm. Stay behind me, John, no matter what happens. In that moment, everything changed. John realized 3 terrifying truths. Something deadly was inside his house. Lyra was not who she claimed to be. His life was in danger, and only she could protect him. He didn't understand anything yet, but he knew one thing. This morning was only the beginning. The moment the metal needle hit the pillow, John felt his entire body freeze. He had never come this close to death. Lyra slowly moved off him, but stayed low, scanning every shadow of the room like a trained hunter. Her glowing blue hands pulsed lightly, ready for the next attack. Get up slowly, she whispered. And stay behind me. John followed her instructions, his legs shaking as he stood. His room, which had always felt safe and ordinary, now felt like a battlefield. Another faint buzzing sound vibrated through the air. Lyra's head snapped toward the corner near the ceiling, her eyes narrowing. She raised her glowing hand and made a small circular motion. A thin ring of blue light appeared in the air like a floating lens. Through it, John could finally see it. The nano-assassin. A tiny black insect-like machine with razor legs and a pulsing red core. It was no bigger than a bee, but it looked like pure death. John gasped. That tiny thing tried to kill me. Yes, Lyra replied calmly, and it will not stop. The assassin darted across the ceiling with unnatural speed, slipping into the shadows again. Lyra turned to John. We need to move. It is trying to find a better angle. John followed her into the hallway. His heart hammered like a drum. His safe home suddenly felt like a trap filled with invisible doors and hidden dangers. Once they reached the living room, Lyra placed her hand on the wall. A soft blue wave passed through the entire room, like a scan. It is here too, she whispered. It has copied your house layout. John's breath caught. Copied? How? Why is this happening to me? I'm no one important. Lyra finally turned to him, really turned. Her face softened, and her eyes lost the sharp soldier-like focus for a moment. John, listen carefully. I need you to understand the truth. John nodded nervously. Lyra took a deep breath. I am not from Earth. John blinked. What? I am an Orion Guardian. My kind watches over certain humans who carry special genetic codes. John stared at her, speechless. You're an alien? He finally whispered. Yes, she replied simply. A peaceful one. My mission is to protect you. John felt dizzy, like his brain couldn't keep up. So you pretended to be a housekeeper? Lyra nodded slowly. It was the only way to stay close without drawing attention. But why me? John asked. I live a normal life. I don't have anything special. Lyra softened even more. You do, John. You just never knew it. Inside your DNA, there's a rare sequence, something ancient, powerful, and feared by many. John felt cold. This was too much to understand. My DNA? You mean, I was born with something aliens want? Yes, she said, her voice calm. But heavy. Your blood contains a key. A code that can unlock an ancient vault hidden deep beneath Earth. A vault built long before humans. John stepped back. He felt like his own body was suddenly unfamiliar. His own blood, a key, a target. So the nano-assassin was sent to kill me because of my DNA? He asked quietly. Yes, several alien factions want the vault for themselves. Some believe it contains weapons. Some think it holds knowledge. Some think it holds a map to other worlds. But no one knows for sure. Lyra glanced toward the window. The air shimmered again, another warning. The assassin is just the first, she whispered. More will come. John swallowed hard. He wanted to deny everything, call it a dream, a hallucination, anything. But the needle in the pillow wasn't a dream. The insect-like machine wasn't a dream. And Lyra's glowing hands were definitely not a dream. What do I do now? He asked in a shaky voice. You run with me, she said firmly. You survive. And you learn the truth about who you really are. A sudden noise, tick, tick, tick. It echoed through the living room. Lyra immediately threw John to the ground and rolled with him behind the sofa, just as a spray of tiny needles ripped through the air where they had been standing. John's ears rang. Lyra's expression hardened again, her guardian face returning. She whispered, It is adapting. It knows you are moving. We need to reach the basement. I can trap it there. John could barely breathe. How do you even fight something like that? Lyra reached into her sleeve and pulled out a small crystal-like device. This is a containment prism, she explained. It can freeze the assassin for a short time. But I must get close to use it. Close, John repeated. It almost killed us from 10 meters away. Lyra looked at him calmly. That is why you must trust me. Your life matters, John, more than you know. For a moment, the room fell silent again. John looked into her glowing eyes. He felt fear, but also a strange comfort. She had saved him twice. She had protected him all night without him knowing. She was risking her life for him right now. He nodded. Okay, I trust you. Lyra gave him a small, rare smile. Good, stay close, do not separate, and whatever happens, do not scream. Before John could ask why, Lyra grabbed his hand and pulled him into the hallway again. The buzzing sound returned louder, faster, angrier. The assassin had found them again. The hallway felt colder than before, as if the air itself was warning them. John followed Lyra closely, his step shaky, his mind still trying to understand everything she had said. The house's home now felt like a maze where death could hide behind any corner. Lyra suddenly raised her hand, signaling him to stop. Not move, she whispered. John froze immediately. Lyra dropped to one knee and placed her palm flat on the wooden floor. Her hand glowed softly. Tiny ripples of blue light spread across the hallway like waves. Within seconds, her eyes narrowed. It is here, she said quietly. Above us. John slowly lifted his head and looked up. The ceiling looked normal, just plain white paint and a small light bulb. Then he heard it. A faint clicking. Almost like tiny metal teeth biting into wood. John's heart raced. It's crawling inside the ceiling? Yes, Lyra replied. It is testing the structure. It wants to find the fastest way down to your neck. John's blood went cold. Before he could speak again, a thin crack appeared above them. Dust fell in a soft line. Lyra reacted instantly. She grabbed John's arm and pulled him backward into the guest room. Just as the door closed, crack. Something dropped from the ceiling and hit the hallway floor like a sharp metal seed. The tiny assassin hovered silently, its red core glowing like an evil heartbeat. From behind the guest room door, John held his breath. Lyra placed her finger on her lips again, signaling him not to make even the smallest sound. The assassin drifted slowly, scanning the space. It didn't move like an insect. It moved like it could think. Lyra leaned close to John's ear and whispered, so softly, it was barely air. It is in hunting mode. It tracks vibration. Even a small breath could reveal us. John swallowed quietly, terrified his heartbeat might be too loud. For the next 20 seconds, everything was silent except for the low hum of the assassin floating outside the door. Lyra closed her eyes and exhaled slowly. Then she whispered, "It is switching strategy. It cannot sense us here. It will try something else." John frowned. Something else? What else could it do? Before he could ask, the lights flickered. Then they turned red. The house, I spoke in a deep, cold voice. Security breach detected. Activating lethal protocol. John's eyes widened. It hacked my house? Yes, Lyra replied. A nano-assassin does not need force. It can hack any system with a simple spark. The guest room door suddenly locked itself. Metal bars slid out of the walls. The windows sealed shut. John grabbed the door handle. What do we do now? We're trapped. Lyra placed both palms on the door and closed her eyes. For a moment, her hands glowed brighter, too bright. Then she pulled back with a soft cry of pain. What happened? John whispered, "The door. Code is rewritten," she said through clenched teeth. "It has full control." As she spoke, the floor under them slowly began to heat. John stepped back. "It's heating the floor?" "Why would it?" Lyra answered before he could finish. "To force us to move. It wants us to panic." A soft hissing sound filled the room. The small air vents near the ceiling opened, and a faint mist began to flow. Out. John coughed. "What is that?" "Sleep gas," Lyra said. "If we pass out, it can kill you without resistance." John covered his mouth with his shirt. His eyes began to sting. Lyra took a deep breath and placed her hand on the wall at shoulder height. "I will open an escape path. Stand back." John stepped away, coughing harder. Lyra pressed her glowing palm harder into the wall. Blue veins of light spread through the wallpaper, cracking the surface. With a final push, a small section of the wall broke open, just big enough for them to crawl through into the storage closet behind it. "Hurry," Lyra said, pulling John inside. As soon as they entered the storage space, she kicked the broken wall piece back into place. It wasn't perfect, but it blocked most of the gas. Inside the storage room, the air was clearer. John collapsed on a box, coughing and trying to calm his shaking hands. "How do you stay so calm?" he asked, breathless. Lyra knelt beside him, her expression softer now. "I am trained for this. You are not." John rubbed his eyes. "I never asked for any of this. I just wanted a quiet life." Lyra nodded. "And you will have one again, but only if you reach the basement with me." "Why the basement?" he asked. "Because it is the only part of your house the assassin has not mapped yet. And your old generator system there is not connected to the main AI network. We can trap it in a dark zone." John looked toward the storage room door. "Then let's go." Lyra shook her head. "We cannot go through the door. It will expect that." She turned and pointed at a small vent above the shelves. "We go through there." John stared. "That tiny vent? I can't fit." "You can," Lyra said confidently. "Fear makes things look smaller," John sighed. "You're giving me alien motivational speeches now?" Lyra almost smiled. Almost. Double quotes no. "I am telling you the truth." She placed her hand on the vent cover, and with a soft pulse of light, it unlocked and slid open. A cool, dark tunnel stretched inside. John swallowed hard and climbed up. As he entered the narrow vent, he whispered, "I can't believe this is happening." Lyra followed him, sealing the vent behind them. Far behind them, in the guest room, the assassin hovered silently, its red glow pulsing. It had lost track of them again, but it wasn't giving up. Not yet. Asterisk. The vent felt colder the deeper they crawled. John's elbows scraped against the narrow metal walls, and every sound echoed sharply, his breath, his heartbeat, even the small movements of Lyra behind him. It felt like the air was holding its breath with them. "How far does this vent go?" John whispered, trying not to choke on his fear. Far enough to avoid the assassin, Lyra answered softly. Keep going. We must reach the lower shafts. John moved forward, trying not to think about the tiny killer drone freely roaming the rooms behind them. Only minutes ago, he was making coffee in his kitchen. Now he was crawling through air ducts like a fugitive in his own house. A sudden metallic vibration ran along the vent walls. John froze. What was that? Lyra placed a hand on the metal, her glowing eyes narrowing. It is scanning the house, she said. It knows we escaped the guest room. But it does not know where yet, John swallowed. So we still have a chance? Yes, she whispered. But the window is small. They crawled for another minute before the vent opened into a slightly larger vertical shaft. A thin metal ladder ran down its center. Go down, Lyra said. I will follow. John grabbed the cold ladder and slowly descended into the darkness. Lyra dropped after him silently, her movements fluid and controlled. Nothing like an ordinary housekeeper. Halfway down, the house lights flickered through the vent grills around them. The quiet red glow pulsed a warning, and then the house I say. Calm voice spread through the ducts. Unauthorized movement detected in ventilation system. John's blood turned to ice. It knows we're here. Lyra's voice stayed calm. Yes, but the assassin does not know our exact position yet. Keep going. John reached the bottom of the shaft and quietly stepped onto a narrow service hallway he didn't even know existed. Pipes lined the walls and dust layered the floors. It felt untouched, forgotten. This part of the house, I never saw it, John whispered. Lyra nodded. Builders often create maintenance paths humans do not. The assassin may overlook it. For the first time, John felt a tiny sliver of hope, but it lasted only 2 seconds. A loud electronic crackle echoed from the vent. Above them then came the buzzing fast. Aggressive, the assassin had entered the shaft. Move! Lyra urged. They sprinted through the maintenance hallway. John's lungs burned. His legs felt heavy. Lyra was ahead of him, guiding him with fast hand signals and sharp turns. Behind them, the buzzing grew louder. It was hunting them again. John nearly tripped over a broken pipe lying on the ground. But Lyra grabbed his arm and kept him steady. Do not stop, she said. You must trust your feet. I'm trusting them, John gasped, but they're not very reliable. The hallway led to a steel door with an old mechanical lock. No digital system. No AI connection. This is perfect, Lyra said. She pulled a small glowing pin from her wrist armor. John had never noticed she wore armor beneath her uniform and inserted it into the lock. The gears inside clicked softly. But then a red laser beam cut through the darkness behind them. John turned and saw the assassin floating into the hallway, its red core burning brighter than ever. He felt his stomach drop. It found us. The drone extended 3 needle-like limbs, each crackling with purple electricity. John whispered shakily, Lyra, we don't have time. I know, she said quickly. She pushed the door open just enough for John to slip through. Get inside. Now. John hesitated. What about you? Lyra turned her head slightly, her eyes glowing brighter. I will be fine. Go. John's throat tightened. He didn't want to leave her behind, but he had no choice. He slipped through the door and watched her turn to face the assassin head on. Just as he shut the door, he heard the clash-sharp metal hitting energy. A small window in the door let him see the hallway. Lyra moved like a storm, dodging the drone's lightning-fast strikes and blocking with energy shields around her arms. But the assassin was fast, too fast. It zipped behind her, launching a needle toward her spine. Lyra! John shouted, slamming the door fully shut. He heard a loud impact and explosion of sparks and silence. His chest tightened. Was she hit? Did she survive? He stood frozen until the door handle twisted. John stumbled back, terrified. But then Lyra walked in. She looked exhausted, breathing heavily. Her cheek had a long smoking scratch. One of her glowing shoulder plates was cracked and flickering. But she was alive. "I am fine," she said, even though she was clearly not fine. "Come, we must keep moving." John opened his mouth to argue, but Lyra shook her head. "There's no time to worry. The assassin only paused. It did not die." He stared at her. "You fought that thing alone." She met his eyes with surprising softness. "I told you, John, protecting you is my purpose." Something shifted in John's chest. Fear mixed with guilt, mixed with something like admiration. He nodded silently. Lyra pointed toward a narrow staircase leading downward. "That stairs goes to the old generator room. The basement is below it." John took a deep breath. Then, "Let's finish this." Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. "Yes," she said, "but be ready. The next part will be the hardest." Together, they stepped into the darkness below them, unaware that the assassin, damaged but furious, was already finding a new path toward them. Asterisk. The staircase creaked as John and Lyra descended. The deeper they went, the colder the air became. Dust floated like tiny stars in the weak light from Lyra's glowing hands. The house above them seemed far away now, like a different world full of noise. Danger and a metal killer. Down here, the silence felt heavy. Like something was waiting. John shivered. "Why does this place feel so wrong?" Lyra paused, scanning the darkness ahead. "Because this part of your home has been untouched for years," she whispered. "Places that sleep too long often feel this way." John forced a small laugh. "You talk like a poet sometimes." Lyra didn't smile. She kept her focus on the path. The staircase ended at a large wooden door, old, cracked, and covered in dust. Lyra gently pushed it open, and a wave of cold air hit them. Inside was a large underground room filled with old machines, wires, and pipes. The old generator sat in the center, silent and dead. "This was installed before the modern AI system," Lyra said. "That is why the assassin cannot control it. This is our safe zone." John stepped inside and looked around. The room was old and forgotten, but it felt strangely familiar, like he had been here before. A faint memory tugged at him, his father bringing him down here when he was young, telling him not to touch anything. Lyra watched John carefully. "You feel something, don't you?" John nodded slowly. "Yes, but I don't know why." Lyra stepped closer to him, her eyes glowing softly. "It is time I tell you the full truth." John felt his stomach tighten. He wasn't sure he was ready, but Lyra continued, her voice calm and gentle. "John, you were never just a normal human. Your bloodline is special, ancient, older than any human kingdom." John blinked. "My bloodline?" "Lyra, I grew up in a normal family. My parents were." She raised her hand gently. "Your parents were good people. But they did not know the secret they protected. The secret inside you." John shook his head. "This makes no sense." Lyra stepped closer. "John, you have Orion code in your DNA." He stared at her. "Orion what?" "Orion code," she repeated. "A genetic pattern not from Earth. It was placed in your line thousands of years ago." John felt dizzy. "So, I'm not human?" "You are human," Lyra said firmly. "But you carry something extra, something rare, something powerful." She lifted her hand, and a soft blue hologram appeared, shapes, symbols, and patterns made of light. "This," she said, "is the code inside your DNA. It is a key, a map, a command." John stepped back. "This is insane. I'm just me. I go to work. I watch movies. I'm not some alien experiment." "You are not an experiment," Lyra replied softly. "You are a guardian, born without knowing it." John shook his head again, breathing fast. "Why me? Why my family? Why this code?" Lyra hesitated. This time, John saw real sadness in her eyes, because your bloodline was chosen thousands of years ago to protect a secret. What secret? Lyra looked at him with a heavy expression. The location of the ancient vault. A place filled with lost technology, knowledge and power from civilizations long gone. John stared at her. A vault? Under earth? Yes, hidden deep. Locked by your DNA. Only someone of your bloodline can open it. John's throat went dry. And the assassin wants to kill me because of that? Yes, Lyra said. If your bloodline ends, the vault can never be opened again. The factions who want its power would rather destroy the key than let it fall into the wrong hands. John sank onto a metal crate, holding his head. This is too much. I don't want any of this. Lyra knelt in front of him, her face calm and gentle now. John, I know you never asked for this life, but your blood carries history that could save millions of lives, or destroy them if taken by the wrong beings. John looked up, eyes trembling. So what happens to me now? Lyra reached out and took his hand. Now, you must learn who you are, and I will protect you, no matter what comes. For a moment, their eyes met, human fear and alien loyalty bound together by something neither of them fully understood. But then a sharp crack echoed through the room. Lyra's head snapped up. John felt a cold wave run through his chest. A small vent grating on the far wall slid open by itself, and from the darkness beyond the vent, a faint red glow appeared. The assassin had found them. Lyra pulled John behind the old generator. It is damaged, but it has tracked your heartbeat. We must be ready. John's breathing turned shallow. Lyra, I'm not ready to fight. You do not need to fight, she whispered. You just need to stay alive. The buzzing grew louder. The red light grew brighter. The assassin entered the basement fully, its limbs sharp, its core pulsing with killing intent. John squeezed Lyra's hand. Tell me what to do, Lyra whispered. Believe in yourself. Your bloodline survived for centuries. Tonight, it survives again. The assassin lunged. The real battle was about to begin. The basement trembled with the buzzing of the assassin as it glided into the room. Its red core glowed brighter than ever, angry, wounded, but determined to finish its mission. It's metallic. Limbs clicked sharply, tasting the air, reading vibrations, searching for John. John felt Lyra's grip tighten on his arm. Stay behind the generator, she whispered. Do not move until I tell you. John nodded, even though fear made his whole body shake. The generator was huge and heavy, its metal surface cold against his back. It shielded them for now, but not for long. The assassin floated slowly, scanning the room with a soft clicking sound. Click, click, click. Lyra's eyes were fixed on the machine. It lost one sensor during our last fight, she whispered softly. That means it will rely on sound and heat now. John swallowed hard. So if I breathe too loud, it will kill you. Lyra finished calmly. John shut his mouth instantly and held his breath. Lyra reached into her sleeve and pulled out a small crystal-shaped device, the containment prism. She whispered. I only have one chance. It must be close enough for this to work. John leaned toward her. What do I do? Lyra looked at him with a rare softness. You stay alive, that is all. The assassin suddenly zipped to the far side of the room. Its sharp legs clacked against the pipes above, slicing through metal as if it were soft fruit. Sparks fell everywhere. John flinched. One spark landed near his foot. The assassin instantly spun toward the sound. Lyra reacted faster than human reflex. She grabbed a piece of broken pipe and hurled it across the room. It hit the opposite wall with a loud clang. The assassin shot toward the sound like a bullet. John exhaled shakily. You saved me again. Lyra didn't answer. Her eyes were fixed on the assassin's movements. The drone spun, scanning. It was learning. adapting, becoming smarter every second. It sensed the generator's heat signature and drifted closer. Closer, Lyra whispered. This is not good. If it understands the generator is shielding you, what happens? It will explode the generator. John's heart stopped. But that will. Yes, she said quietly. It will kill you instantly. John's breath turned cold. The assassin floated to the side of the generator and extended a sharp tendril, ready to slice into it. No. John whispered. Lyra stood up from behind the generator, exposing herself. The assassin turned instantly. It recognized her. Its red light burned brighter. It shot a needle straight at her. Lyra flipped to the side, the needle slicing past her face and embedding into the wall. She landed gracefully, sliding across the floor, and lifted her hand. A shield of blue energy formed over her palm. The assassin launched another needle. She blocked it, sparks flying everywhere. John watched in horror. She was fast, but the assassin was faster. Lyra ducked behind a pipe column, breathing heavily. The wound on her cheek from earlier still glowed faintly, and her shoulder plate flickered with failing energy. She was running out of power. Lyra, John whispered. You're hurt. I am fine, she said, even though she clearly wasn't. The assassin tore through the pipe column she was hiding behind. Steam exploded into the room, filling the air with heat and mist. Perfect. Lyra whispered. She used the steam as cover and moved silently to another part of the room, but John wasn't protected by the steam. He coughed once, softly. The assassin stopped moving. It turned toward the generator. John froze. Lyra saw it. Her eyes widened in fear. John, close your mouth. Don't even breathe. John held his breath, but it was too late. The assassin drifted closer. Sensing the faint vibration of his lungs, it extended its razor limb. John felt the blade's cold glow near the generator. Lyra, he whispered, terrified. Lyra broke cover and sprinted toward the assassin. No. Her scream cut through the air, and she jumped between John and the machine, blocking the attack with her entire body. The assassin's blade sliced into her shoulder. She cried out, not in pain, but from the force of the hit. John felt his chest explode with panic. Lyra. She pushed him back behind the generator. Stay down, she commanded, blood glowing faintly around her wound. The assassin adjusted, aiming another needle at her forehead. But Lyra moved first. She hurled the containment prism with all her strength. The crystal spun through the air in a blue streak. Assassin detected it too late. The prism hit its core. Boom! A bright blue flash filled the room. A silent shockwave pulsed outward. The assassin froze in midair, completely still. Its limbs stiffened. Its core flickered. Its red light dimmed into darkness. John peeked around the generator. It's frozen, he whispered. Lyra nodded weakly, falling to one knee. Yes. But only for a short time. John rushed to her side, catching her before she collapsed. Lyra, you're hurt. She looked at him, her face pale. It is only a surface wound. But the prism, it will not hold long. John stared at the frozen assassin, fear gripping his spine. What happens when it wakes up? Lyra looked into his eyes. When it wakes, we finish this once and for all. Her voice was calm. Her wounds were real, and the assassin's frozen core was already beginning to flicker back to life. Asterisk. The basement shook softly as the frozen assassin hovered in place, trapped inside the fading blue glow of the containment prism. Tiny cracks of red light flickered inside its core like a heartbeat trying to restart. John held Lyra tightly, supporting her weight as she leaned against him. She was still bleeding from her shoulder wound. Her glowing armor pulse had dimmed to a faint shimmer. She looked weaker than ever. Lyra, we need to get out of here, John whispered urgently. She shook her head gently. Double quotes, no. If we leave now, it will follow. It will hunt you again. It must be destroyed here. John glanced at the assassin. Its frozen limbs trembled slightly. Do you even have enough power left to fight? He asked. Lyra gave him a soft, tired smile. For you, I have enough. John felt something twist painfully inside his chest. No one had ever said something like that to him. No one had ever risked their life for him again and again. He touched her arm gently. Lyra, you don't have to die for me. She placed her hand over his. I am not dying, John. I am fulfilling my purpose. Before he could answer, the prism's glow dimmed even further. A sharp crack echoed through the basement. The assassin twitched. Lyra pushed herself up, struggling to stand. John stood too, lending his support. The assassin's red core flickered back to life like a small flame reigniting. Crack, buzz, clicked. The prism shattered into dust. The assassin dropped to the floor silent, but alive. Then, its limbs slowly unfolded. One by one. John stepped in front of Lyra instinctively. Stay back. I'll protect you. Lyra placed a weak hand on his shoulder. Her voice softened. You are brave, but you are not ready to fight this. The assassin rose halfway into the air. Its limbs stretched wide, sharp and deadly. Its red eye focused on John with pure killing intent. Lyra reached toward it with trembling fingers. A last charge of blue energy ignited in her hand, but it was faint, barely enough to make her palm glow. The assassin lunged. Its body shot forward with a violent burst of speed. John's fear exploded. He grabbed the nearest thing, an old metal rod from the floor, and swung it. The rod hit the assassin's side, knocking it off balance for just 1 second. Just 1 second. But it was enough. Lyra moved. Despite her wound, despite her fading strength, she dashed forward with all the power left in her body. Her glowing hand struck the assassin's core directly. Boom! A blue explosion erupted through the basement. Not loud, but bright, so bright it felt like time stopped. The assassin's core cracked. Red sparks burst out and vanished into the air. The drone collapsed to the ground. Its limbs twitched, then faded into silence. John stared at it, chest heaving. It's dead, Lyra, you did it. Lyra smiled softly, but her body suddenly swayed. John rushed to catch her. Lyra! Hey, stay with me. Her breathing was shallow. Her eyes glowed faintly. She was fading. No, please don't pass out. Please, John begged, holding her tightly. Lyra lifted her hand and gently touched his cheek. You are safe now. John, that's not enough, he whispered, his voice breaking. You can't leave me. I need you. Her smile deepened, fragile but warm. I am not leaving. I simply need time to recover. Guardians heal slowly, but we do heal. John felt a wave of relief. That I'm not going anywhere. I'll take care of you now. Lyra rested her forehead against his chest. For the first time, she whispered, I believe someone will. Minutes later, John helped her up the stairs, one step at a time. The house lights were broken, walls were damaged. Smoke filled the corridors. Needle holes marked the walls like scars, but they were alive when they reached the living room. The sunrise light was leaking through the window. A soft golden glow spread across the floor. Lyra looked at it with tired eyes. Morning, she whispered. John guided her to the couch. Sit, rest. I'll get the first aid kit. She shook her head. There is something important before you go. John knelt in front of her. What is it? Lyra stared into him with gentle seriousness. Assassin was only the beginning. Now that your DNA signature has awakened, others will come. John's heart thumped painfully. You mean more killers like that? Not just killers, Lyra said. Hunters, seekers, those who want the vault unlocked, and those who want it closed forever. John rubbed his face with both hands. So I'm in danger forever? Lyra reached out and took his hand. No, you are not alone now. John looked at her, really looked at her. This alien guardian who had saved him, protected him, fought for him, nearly died for him. He squeezed her hand. What do I do now? Lyra took a slow breath.